Pyramids FC, P in the name, then Orlando Pirates, also another P in the name. So it's P against P in the CAF Champions League semi-final. But we have two teams who are in very unfamiliar zones. This is not an area these two teams are used to. So let me give you a preview of the game between Orlando Pirates and then Pyramids FC in the CAF Champions League semi-final. All right, so my name is Dennis Seram Kofi. Welcome again back to the channel. Like this video to support it. Subscribe to the channel to support it, because I do a lot of work to bring you all the information I give you. So the only thing I ask is just like and subscribe. That's all I ask of you. That is all. So please just do that for me. But let me get straight into the video. And I told you earlier, these two teams are in unfamiliar zones. They're in zones that they are not familiar with. So let me start first with Orlando Pirates. The last time they played at this stage in the CAF Champions League was in 2013. 2013 is 12 years ago. And 12 years ago, I don't know, I'm not sure any of the players in these teams now were in the team in 2013. I don't know. Maybe you can correct me if there is anybody who was in the team, but I'm not so sure whether any of the players who are playing now were in the team in 2013. So literally, a lot of them are new. They are not used to this area or this zone of the Champions League. And also, for the players who are, let's say, 20 years and below, to the likes of Mofokeng, Nkotha, it's very possible that they've not even seen Pirates playing the Champions League at this stage, because they're probably 8 years when they're playing in 2013, and that's 8 years. Yeah, maybe you will see, but you will barely even remember a lot of things. So this is not familiar zone for the players, even for the fans who are probably 20 years and below. They've not seen anything like this before. So it's completely unfamiliar zone for Orlando Pirates at this stage of the CAF Champions League. For Pyramids FC, it's a similar story. So this is actually the very first time Pyramids FC are playing in the semi-final of the CAF Champions League. Not only is it the first time they are playing the semi-final, it's the first time they are playing in the knockout stages of the CAF Champions League. And they've made it all the way to the semi-final on their very first time. And they want to make it to the final. But in their way, it's no other than the team from Soweto, the team from, that is South Africa, Orlando Pirates. Let me get into the team news, starting first with that it's Pyramids FC. And their last Champions League game they played, it was an away game against Asfar. That game had a lot of controversies around it. So, according to the Pyramids team, they couldn't get a better training pitch to play on, to train for the game. So, they literally had to sort of train on a very bad training surface. And 3 of their key players got injured because of the training surface they got. So, Ramadan Sobhi was out with an injury. Tshegofatso was also out with an injury. Ibrahim Adel was also out with an injury, all because of the training surface they got in that last game they played against Asfar from Morocco. So all these 3 players have not played a game since that time when they traveled to that is Morocco to play against Asfar. But thankfully, we have Ramadan Sobhi, who is back from injury. Tshegofatso is also back to join the team. So they'll most likely play that game against that is Orlando Pirates. But then the worry bit is Ibrahim Adel, who has not been fit. He's still out injured. So he wouldn't be playing parts of this game against Orlando Pirates. And that is a very worrying bit, because he seems to be the spark, the main man of the Pyramids team. If you check the top scorers chart for Pyramids in all competitions, he's the top scorer for the team in all competitions, and he's also the top assist maker in all competitions. Nobody has made more assists than him in all competitions this season for Pyramids, and nobody has scored more goals than him this season for Pyramids. So with such a player being out of the game, it's a big blow. It's a huge blow for Pyramids FC. And this is a man who Pyramids had to fight several clubs from the La Liga, from the Spanish La Liga. They were literally interested in sending him and taking him away, because, Egypt played the Olympics. He was one of the key men for Egypt. And after the Olympics, a lot of clubs wanted his signature, but they had to literally fight to keep Ibrahim Adel. And at such a crucial stage of the season, he's out with an injury. He'll be a big blow and big miss for that is Pyramids going into this game. So Ibrahim Adel was supposed to be the man that adds the touch in terms of the final third, especially playing from the left-hand side of the attack, because he's one man who he can literally take on defenders. He has the pace to outrun defenders. He's not your average winger who maybe has a lot of pace and they make 1 or 2 dribbles and then they blast. No, he has the ability to pick very good passes, create chances. That's why he's the top assist maker in the team. He has the pace. He can score the goals. He's literally your complete sort of winger. So it's a big miss for that is Pyramids. But the man to probably most likely replace him will be this man, Karim Hafiz. So Karim is a left back. Originally, he's a left back, but he's more like your your attacking-minded left back. So he has the ability to sort of barge forward and then also add numbers to the attack playing as a left back. So he has been pushed up to play up front because in such a game also like against Orlando Pirates, which is an away game, I'm sure the coach will want to be a bit stable. So if you have at least a player who is playing as a left winger, he can add up in attack, but also has the defensive awareness because he's a left back to add a bit to in terms of the stability of defense for Pyramids FC in this game. And for Orlando Pirates, well, there is no major injury concern since their last game against, that is MC Oja in the CAF Champions League. There is no major player who is, let's say, out since that last Champions League game. So it's quite very possible that we might see the same sort of team approach. That is the full squad who were assembled for the game against MC Oja. Very likely you could see a similar squad for the game against, that is, Orlando Pirates. And even to add up to a boost for them, a couple of players who were coming back from injury in the game against, that is, MC Oja are now fit. They are up to beat. They are now playing to the rhythm of the team. So a player like Patrick Maswangani is now playing to the rhythm of the team and who add up to a lot of quality in terms of the Orlando Pirates attack. So I think it's good news for Pirates in terms of their team news getting into this game. Now let me talk about the approach for both teams into this game, getting into this game. And let me start first with Pyramids FC. And they are such a joy to watching them playing attack. And it's no surprise because they have quality, like proper quality. Probably one of the most quality-stacked teams on the continent because you have a player like Fiston, Mayele, who is the also national team player. You have a player like Mustafa Fati, who is Egypt's national team player. And we have a player like Ramadan Sobhi, Egypt's national team player. He was brought from the English Premier League to come and play for Pyramids. Even you have a player who is out injured though, but then Ibrahim Adel, if he was fit, would have also added up to the attack. Another Egypt's national team player who was wanted by several clubs in the Spanish La Liga. So this is a very quality side. That is the Pyramids attack. And I didn't even mention a player like Walid Okati, who is a legend in the African game, had a good time with Wydad Casablanca, played a few times for the Morocco national team. So he's paid his dues to the African game and still has a bit of quality to give off to. That is the Pyramids team. Even a player like Yusuf Obama, who also has paid his dues, especially when he was playing with Zamalek, done very well on the African game, also has a bit of quality to add to. That is the African game for Pyramids FC. So it should be no surprising at all that Pyramids have scored the most goals in the CAF Champions League this season. And even their last game they played at home, they got 4 goals against, that is Asfa. It's not surprising because this is a team that has quality in attack. But in as much as they have that numbers, that force, that names in attack, one area where they are easily exploitable has to be in defense because, the game they played against Asfa, if you didn't watch the game and then you just saw the result, you have thought, it was a dominance display by Pyramids. They just bulldozed over Asfa and got a 4-1 win. But the game actually was different. It could have been 0-4, could have been 4-3. And I always say this one thing, that football is a matter of moments. If I get my chances and I pin them and I win, I could win by 4-0. If you get your chances and you don't win, you don't score them, and I win by 4-0. Nobody is going to remember that you got maybe 5 big chances and sport all of them. What everyone's going to remember is the scoreline. But then, in terms of the actual devil or the details, Arsenal actually gave a challenge in that game because the Pyramids defense didn't really come up to the party in the game. And it was as far like this chance they wasted. It was literally a one-on-one they could have scored. They wasted this chance. There was even a penalty appeal and a couple of other chances that was wasted by Asfa in that first leg against, that is, Pyramids. This was even a game against Esperance, that is for Pyramids. And you see Belele, he picked the ball from this zone. You see where he is. That's where he picked the ball. And he was able to literally walk through the defense of Pyramids and score a goal from this range, where you are seeing him in the box. He scored a goal from this range after picking the ball way behind. So that is really how, and this is even another footage of how disorganized the Pyramids defenders were. Like 2 players literally left all alone on the far post, and then a cross gets to them, and then it's a simple chance created. So it's one area for Pyramids that the defense cannot really match up to the quality they have in attack. But one area they can really feed on is defensive errors, and they showed that in that game against Asfa, where they got 3 goals from defensive errors. So if you give the ball away to them, if they press you high and you give them the ball, they have the quality to sort of create a chance out of it. And this was Orlando Pirates, the last game they played against Marimo Gallants. Literally a giveaway. A ball was given away at this zone. If this was Pyramids to do this against them, they're going to score because they have the men in attack to sort of be that efficient. To you give them a small sniff as your goal, they'll score against you. So if this was against Pyramids, they're probably going to score. But for Marimo Gallants, or they are not able to sort of utilize this chance and get the goal. But it will be different if you do something like this against, that is, Pyramids in the Champions League semi-final. The form of both teams going to this game is very important because for Pyramids, the last 3 games they played, they've not been able to win it. They've not been able to win any of the last 3 games they played. They lost the last battle game by 2-0 against Asfar, which was the Champions League second leg game. Then they played a 1-1 draw with Al Ali, which was the last league game they played. Then the League Cup game, this was their youth team though, but then it was representing the senior team for Pyramids. So they lost in the Egypt League Cup game. That is the youth setup, but it was still representing the team. So the last 3 games their team has played, they've not been able to win. For Orlando Pirates, it's a different story because the team is brimming in confidence. Well, the last 8 games they've played, they've not lost in any of those 8 games. In the last 3 of them, they have not even conceded a goal. So clean sheets in the last 3 games. So that is an impressive record in terms of defensively and also confidence coming into the game for, and that is Orlando Pirates. But one area I would like to look at in terms of for Pirates is in attack, because they have this man, Evidence Makgopa, who has been playing, starting a couple of the last few games for them. But then since we got into 2025, he scored just 1 goal, only 1 goal in 2025. Despite all the games he's played, he adds a lot to the team in attack, but then he's not able to get the goals himself as a striker. And playing a game like Pyramids, who I've already highlighted that they have a lot of defensive flaws, and it's a home game. For me, if I were the coach, I would rather want to go for the kill. I mean, if you've seen that this is where my opponent is sort of vulnerable at, go for the kill them off. And no one does that better than this man, Mabasa, who even in the last game they played against, that is MC Oja, he came from the bench, was able to generate this chance, got this chance, he sniffed and got this chance, which he almost scored from. So if you have a man who can sniff around chances and score and play against an opponent who are vulnerable in defense, why not start him? So I think for me, I would, if I were the coach, I would look at starting a player like Mabasa in attack to sort of add up in terms of getting the sniffing around the goals and then getting the goals for Orlando Pirates, which will be very important in this first leg against, and that is Pyramids. Because if you check the away games Pyramids has played, the big away games they played this season in the Champions League, they played against, that is Esperance away, they lost by 2-0. They played against, that is Asfar away, they lost by 2-0. So this is a team who don't really do well when they travel on the road, playing against an equally quality opposition side. So if you get them in an area like this, get them, kill off the game, get 2 goals, 3 goals, kill off the game even before the second leg. So you have a bit of confidence going into that second leg. And I'll start Mabasa in that game if I were the coach. But this is only my thoughts on the game. You can also let me know your prediction for this game. Who do you think is going to win this first leg? Will it be Orlando Pirates or Pyramids FC? Tell me in the comment section.